Good morning, everybody. Thank you for jumping into the Citrus events here with Cyrus and Louis McGriff.
Hey, how's it going?
Louis, you've been sitting in the Discord call for like how many hours?
I've never left. I'm a prisoner.
This is true. I only pay you in beans sometimes when you're a good boy.
No,
Yes.
never a good boy.
So check the title, guys. I know I'm doing an early stream and I'm not doing Doom Eternal playthrough, but that's because I'm busy. I'm so busy. I decided to do something quick and easy because I'm that much of a lazy person.
Yeah.
The title is Into the Spiderverse 2 Garbslop Edition. What is Garbslop? Well, Garbslop is garbage slop that people eat into their brains. It
It's
causes
like
their
goy
brains to
slop for
atrophy.
the eyes.
What's that?
It's like goy slop for the eyes.
Basically, Garbslop. Like garbage that is now slop. Before, the slop was just like bare minimal gray matter that you would suck through a straw. Now it's just complete garbage.
Which is a shame.
Yeah,
I really like the first Spiderverse movie. It's very dynamic, very comic book-esque.
Would you have cared if a sequel was never made for it?
The sequel was never made for it. It'd still be a good movie. But typically everyone treats sequels as, well, lesser because they are trying to continue an idea, but they've kind of already resolved everything, so it just feels like they have to hash something out. It doesn't really feel the same, you know?
Well, sequels can do good If you take an example of Shrek, Shrek 1 was alright. Nobody was raving about it. It did very well. But Shrek 2 kicked it out of the park. So you have instances where sequels can be better than the first.
Wait. Shrek 2 the one where they went to the,
Yes, Far, Far Away.
Okay.
Introduction of Puss in Boots. Shrek had his entire model redone to be human, so which was, you know, if you have a stable
That's
character-
the tight round buttocks, that one, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad that line about his ass was the first thing that crossed your mind.
Cute button nose. What is this? Ah!
I found your first movie that gave Louis the willies. He's like, why am I feeling so weird? No. So sequels can do good. It depends on, like, you know, consistency and the what the sequel's about. But
They certainly had good humor. I remember that scene with the cops parody where they had like the knights like fly down from the balloons, and then they just, instead of pepper spraying, they're just using a pepper grinder on the
I
horse.
warned you,
And
you just hear
on
it grinding.
ah! It's like an actual ass like pepper grinder from a restaurant.
Yeah, that was. I like the sense of humor.
Yeah,
They did well. They did very
people
well.
can have sense of humor these days.
Because sense of humor, it
Holy
requires risk. It requires risking offending somebody. Nobody wants to risk anything. Corporations are now like, if there's a risk, we're not doing it no matter what. So what's the safest option? Well, why don't
That
we
board
just
game is
appeal-
fucking terrible.
What?
That board game is terrible.
What board game?
Risk.
Anyway, we have
Corporations.
now we have Into the Spiderverse 2. So I saw the first one. I'm not that big a fan of Marvel, to be honest, or DC. Comics are kind of like before my time, and watch them on the screen, not bad. But at this point, they've been, of course, hijacked. And
Anything
now-
is a profit machine these days.
Like we were talking about on one of our earlier streams about how things are being sacrificed at the altar to like just get the golden goose out of the golden egg out of the goose. We have this now on the chopping block. So why is Into the Spider-Verse a topic we're talking about? Well, if you can take a look here on the screen, we have a still from the trailer that was released. Hold on one second. Fucking blood. As you can see, it's kind of been grainy because the quality's shit, but we have Gwen, who's probably going to be ending up being trans, because they can't have tomboys anymore. They got to turn tomboys into titless sacks of meat walking around with a Frankenstein wiener. So we have protect trans kids on there. As you can see on the top right here, it says protect trans kids. I'm gonna get in on this, but Louie, you have the floor for a minute. So, what is your reaction to this?
It feels kind of shoehorned in for like an Easter egg or something. I don't know. I mean, you have animators that spend hours upon hours. Oh, okay, it zoomed in on the stream. That's what you meant by that. That kind of feels out of place, honestly.
If you were to watch a movie about spiders and men,
But ghost.
in a universe where that is, what am I doing? Sorry, I'm
That
just
looks
gonna
like
do
stick bug.
this. Would you expect that at all in your cartoon or?
I didn't expect that at all until you pointed it out. I had no idea that was
Right.
there.
Right, it's like subtle. It's subtle.
That's
It's like
subtle brainwashing.
quite literally.
Some George Orwellian 1984 BS.
Well, we're past that point. We're living in that. We're living in it.
Yeah, it's 2023. That's well over.
No, we
Oh.
literally are, but that's not what we're going to talk about.
Oh, next year would actually be like 50 years after 1984, huh?
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, it was 40 years. Why can't I?
Let's just stay on topic. You see that, and your kid asks you, "What's a trans kid?" I've never seen one, or I think I've seen
I
one.
want to be a cool trans kid, mommy or daddy or non-binary E.
Okay, what's your reaction though? Like, your serious thoughts about that?
Discombobulate. Honestly, no, don't even take any seriousness to it because it's a silly thing to shove in it. It's not even lined up in the art. Like, look at like the poster adjacent to it on the left, and it's not even lined up. Someone literally took a PNG and fucking slapped it in the background. It doesn't even have like the same orientation as the things next to it.
Okay.
So it's a low effort something's through it.
Yeah, a low effort, just like the entire movement and everything. It's low effort. It's designed to kill your kids. That's what it is designed to do.
That's terrible.
It's designed to destroy your kids. That's what Protect Trans Kids is all about. It's designed to mutilate and make your kids who are going through puberty insecure about their body to try and force them into it, because these psychopaths can't live in their bodies at all. They don't accept theirs. They want you to do all the work for them, and if not, well, we'll make examples out of your kids. And by this time,
grow up with insecurity these days. Like,
look, when you have puberty, it's an awkward moment. Unless you have a strong father to help you get through that, you're kind of at a vulnerable state for a while, especially young girls. The tomboy girls who like to do dirty, work, like maybe mechanic or farming or stuff like that, they keep the hair short. They're at the most vulnerable when it comes to this kind of crap.
Yeah, there's a huge decrease in women going into STEM fields because they've decided to listen to people that are like saying, "No, math, science, all that stuff that civilization is based off of. Fuck that. Join the arts degrees. You're gonna be so fulfilled." And then next thing you know, they're working at a Starbucks barista, paying off a student loan that just won't. How do I put it? It's a money hole that'll just never fucking close up for the rest of their lives, and they can't make ends meet.
You went to college, and what degree did you get it?
This is a lot of boring shit, but essentially just electrical and management put together, which just equates to a lot of math.
You basically know how a city works, electricity-wise.
Whole city power grid? By proxy. My dad actually worked for Arizona for the powers.
But you went
company.
to something useful that can provide for society.
In a way, yeah.
Well, women going to college are not doing anything to help society. It's a brainwashing institution for them to become feminists and to hate men.
Alright, I want to play devil's advocate in one way, and I really wish I could just say this with sincerity, but there's quite a lot of women that still love going to school and becoming teachers, and I actually value teachers in society as a whole because it's a very good thing to try and impart knowledge on others. And the problem is now people confuse their own political idealism with the teaching, and
Well, why is that? Let me ask you that question. Why do you think teachers are now forcing their political agendas and going with the status quo of whatever government institution is trying to accomplish when it comes to trans and all that psycho bullshit? Why are they doing that? Why are they going along with it?
When I was going to school, I kind of saw this sort of shift in behavior because this didn't exist like 10 years ago, and I was going K through 12, and by the time I graduated in 2013 in high school, things were still pretty tame. But I noticed when I was like third, fourth year in my college thing, people started getting more and more political, and I always, growing up, thought like, oh, politics is just for old people that just complain about how things are. They don't actually do anything, which I still stand by my case. It's just now just younger people that are complaining about things that are, and they don't actually do anything to make the changes. They'll bitch about hot topics that are talked about to death, but Are they going to make any changes in their lives to affect it? No, not at all. They're just going to scream and yell on Facebook. And it's kind of translated in the education system with that, too.
You can't have a dialogue with psychopaths or people who have such a narcissistic point of view of themselves. Especially when it comes down to like being indoctrinated for 4 years of college shit. Professors in I would say since the 70s and 60s have been trying to indoctrinate entire generations of people with feminism in order to get them to become weak. You can't have feminism in a strong society. So now
you can't have a major leaning ideology in any strong leaning society.
You can't have feminism in a strong society because a strong society is maintained and exercised by strong men. That's been usurped, and now we have this trans kids. Protect trans kids. How about you protect kids from trans? That's what you need to have the idea for, because trans people are not. Why do they so obsessed around being around kids? Because they can't.
There's
procreate.
definitely not. No, there's no. Yeah, kind of. If you're thinking.
So what's the next best thing? Well, why don't I take your bastard and turn him into one of me? It's a simulation, like The Thing, in
just like tentacles coming out of like some trans person. Absorbing the people around him. I don't know.
Basically, it's man-made horrors beyond
Let me get that shit out of the way. I don't really understand the whole pronoun bullshit. If you're gonna complicate things, I already have a hard time speaking English to people regularly. I grew up with a different language in the household, so it's already difficult enough to get all the proper verbiage and nouns in public. And if you're gonna complicate that with that's not how I feel, then fuck you. You're not even getting treated as a person in my eyes. That's all.
It's
not because of
thing. If I can control your talking, that can control basically anything. A majority of people in America have fallen for it. I don't care what conservatives think or say. You all follow along because you want to. You want to keep your job and my bootstraps and all that, and I'll just okay. I don't care about calling you pronouns. Just don't make it a law. They're gonna make it a law. They already have. You get canceled on social media, you lose your job anyway.
It's not even that. It's discrimination in the workplace. If you mispronounce someone, that's grounds for getting fired. You accidentally bump into someone, you say, "Oh, sorry, sir," or "Oh, sorry, ma'am." You get fired for being polite to another human being. What kind of shit do we live in now?
We live in a dystopia of psychopaths.
I'm getting depressed over you talking about this stuff, man.
Well, I'm sorry. This is the topic I wanted to kind of bring to attention because this affects film and animation, just like Velma does. But here's the problem.
Oh,
this is a
callback.
Yeah, this is a movie that's not promoting just one psychotic movement, but two. Take a look at this as I bring it on screen. Give it a few seconds here, Louis.
Yeah. There's the time delay. And it's kind of terrible that a loved medium such as animation has turned... Oh, actually, no, it's always been a propaganda machine. I mean, Disney, people forget, the most PC company on the planet, they used to have very racially charged and very political cartoons.
Oh yeah, especially with your character's time era. Let's not forget.
Betty Boop, and I mean, Popeye... He had a cartoon where he was going, "Hey, Japansies."
Okay, we don't have to say exactly what he was calling them.
Hey, come on, that's funny as hell.
YouTube's launching the nuke right at me, just pointing at Louis, who's just like, I remember that day, Japansies. I'm just like,
all right. What is that sticker on the back supposed to say? Is it saying "I son"?
BLM.
Oh, hashtag BLM. Okay, it's so blurry. I saw it as
the
I son
that I've gotten were from Google Images, and they're trying to fuzzy it and trying to get rid of it. Now here's a good question to think about. Aloy, what do you think the Chinese version is going to look like? Do you think any of this is going to be in that?
Oh no. If it's gonna sell, they're gonna censor the shit out of that. Which makes me kind of want to just get the Chinese versions of all movies from
You're gonna
now
learn
on.
Mandarin?
Yeah. Oh sure, blah blah blah.
Bing chile.
Bing chilling. It's just every movie. No, that's the long con, man. I finally figured it out. The Chinese, they're all behind this. They first make movies so shitty, but they make theirs look okay. So we're just like, you know what? Maybe China isn't that bad. And honestly, I gotta say, a lot of Chinese people, they're very good, hardworking people. It's the Chinese government I can't really get behind.
They haven't even invaded us, and you're already being like, I accept our overlords.
No. Like I said, I'll still go against tyranny, but
don't kill me. Look, I'm not fighting for a dead country that wants white.
Hey, hold up. I gotta get this point across. I fucking love chicken fried rice and all that kind of shit, man. They have good food. You cannot diss on that.
Yeah, if it's not tainted with something, sure.
What do you mean? MSG is good for your bones.
Okay. I'm not eating something where an entire country, like whenever something exists in biology, they have to eat it and consume it.
Aliens land on China. They just
they
get
just
fucking.
immediately get eaten.
They just get skewered and served on the street.
Basically, it's like a
imagine
survival
seeing a
thing.
live stream of fucking like we finally make alien contact. Someone lands in the middle of some bazaar. They just chop up the person immediately and just start fucking barbecuing them. And you're just seeing the live feed. And you're like, nuke it from orbit. We're not dealing with that shit.
I'd be
So-
pissed, yeah. So
With China being as massive as it is, we have an extinction level event waiting to happen any fucking time with that concept.
can I control that? No. So
No.
I don't care. I'll talk about what I do care about, which is art and
All right,
animation.
fine.
So,
Yes,
back to
and
the
politics apparently.
point. Politics are coming into my animations. They're here in my animations. I want
I
it
wish
out.
you could just. Yeah. I really
Okay?
wish it
So
wasn't
I'm tired of sitting back and like I want people at least to hear, hey, I don't like this. You shouldn't like this because this is going against everything that you just wanted a good cartoon without having to be reminded about how crap the world is.
And they're throwing in reality into it, and it just feels shit.
Yeah, the trailer has 2 PNG stills of animation that are showing you, hey, fuck you for being white. Hey, fuck you for being straight. In the background, reminding you that you live in a world, not in the Spiderverse where you have Miles Morales and all these characters having a adventure and showing values and what to do and how to sacrifice and how to live with it. And no, none of that. They're still in the reality you live in because I need that in there to feel validated, says the psychotic animators, says the psychotic producers.
I miss the time where Easter eggs were just like, oh hey look, like Pixar. There's Woody in the pile of garbage in Wall-E or something like that. Like that was good background shit. What possesses a person to obsess over this kind of stuff where they're just like, hey, I need to have other people agree with me, so I'm gonna throw it subtly into this.
It's like we talked about with the previous stream. They have people who are submitting to this psychotic director or leader who's like, I need to submit to a fringe minority that is killing kids, mutilating them. I need to submit to that because I'm too weak to stand against it because I like my cushy job. Fuck all your kids. They get that message. I want to, not have any trouble, so I'm not gonna stick my head out and go against this narrative. And what's gonna happen is nobody's gonna go see it. Now that you put this in, nobody's gonna go see it. Nobody should go see this. I don't care if this is the best storyline ever. These 2 pictures confirm that you are with that ideology. You are with destroying kids. You're also with attacking
Hold
white
on.
people. And
Hey. I gotta just point this out. I just noticed it. What is with the still image on the right side? He looks like he's spooked by something. Like
He's
he
spooked. I was
saw it.
talking about it because we found out. We see it.
Yeah. No, I just wanted some light and airy conversational topics. And while this is heart and heavy, and it honestly kind of bums me out because I was genuinely looking forward to this, and I don't think I can support all this just basically propaganda being shoved into.
This is going to be interesting because you're a normie to some degree. You kind of.
Not really.
You kind of are, but that's okay. You know, you don't know anything about the Warband, Hammerhands, or Cytrus, or the Grey Ghost, or any of these guys who have been talking about these things for years now. So, you don't know anything about that. I've been prepared for stuff like this, and I felt like I can add to the conversation by talking about art and animation. So that's the whole thing with why I'm doing all this. I want to.
I do live under a rock, and I just ignore news topics because they aren't really interesting. They've been talked about to death.
Well, it's no longer you can live under a rock. They're now under the rock with you. They're telling you you're a bad person for not liking what they like. They're now trying to control you.
Can't I tell them back, hey, you're a bad person?
No, you get arrested by the piggies.
For saying, hey, I don't like you.
Exactly. That's hate speech, and so now you're a victimizer.
But they can hate me and speech it.
Yeah, because it's now to the point where they rule over you because the cops and all that will basically murk you if you speak out against it. I don't care how conservative your area is. If some psychotic bitch says you victimized her, they'll come and kill you. I've seen it happen. It's happening. And, you know, underneath your rock, I know you kind of want to feel safe, but at this point, there's no place that feels safe.
Feel safe? I'm just usually too busy to pay attention to this kind of stuff. I work 12-hour shifts. I don't want to spend my free time worrying about such trivial things, but they're becoming not trivial.
Right. So, right now, I feel like just taking a stand the best way I can is by calling out the bullshit. And yeah, I can be put at risk. A lot of us can. But I think the risk is going to be worth it if, you know.
Goddamn Risk board game. It's the whole thing behind all
shout out to the board game Risk.
We're not sponsored, by the way.
To kind of summarize a bit of the point, I'm not going to go see this movie. Nobody should go see this movie.
I'm going to say it to spite you, but I'm going to close my eyes during these two specific frames.
You're going to pay them money and like close your eyes and sit on the seat backwards.
No, what I'm gonna do is train myself to blink at these very two specific frames in the movie.
Well, you're gonna do exactly what the majority of America does now. No, if I don't see it, doesn't affect me. Wait a second.
Out of sight, out of mind. No, the point I want to get across is why even buy into their radicalization.
Because
just ignore them for the children they are, just screaming and kicking and crying because they didn't get their way. If they don't want to act like adults, don't treat them like adults. That's all. Don't take them seriously.
It's a kid with a loaded gun. It's not just a child throwing a tantrum. It is a child throwing a tantrum whose emotions are raging and they have a loaded gun aimed at you.
It's a baby in a stroller with just like a 50 cal. It shoots at the baby, goes flying to the room adjacent.
It's in one of those walking carts, and it shoots and it just goes flying.
Well, the little crib things that have like just holes for the legs, and they just kind of waddle around the house,
basically
bumping into shit.
But so, they have
that's actually a good metaphor.
Yeah,
it's a good metaphor.
It is it's dangerous for the average person out there now, and the average person is submitting because they know how dangerous it is.
Is it hate speech though to call them out on being childish? Because it is what it is.
Hate speech is nothing more than controlling somebody and pinning them as
hey man, that's double think. Don't be doing that. You're gonna get in trouble with the thought police.
My thought cloud bubble has a thought cloud bubble.
God, I wonder what he's thinking. He won't think
Xavier
this.
Renegade moment. He's like, don't spend it all in one place.
The telephone game, both his own morals.
Yeah.
Yeah,
hate speech doesn't exist. All it is a way to just be like, hey, there's somebody I don't like, and they're not bowing to me, so I'm going to get them hurt as much as I can. So here's the police, the piggies in blue, to come kill you.
You know, I gotta say, with all this shitty stuff, like, who the heck is, like, lining the pockets of people that actually support... Who are the people that support this? Because typically, the people that I agree with these kind of ideologies, they're not busy at all. They don't have day jobs, so they have all the time in the world to go on Twitter, to go on Facebook, and rant about politics, because they have too much free time. So they're pissed fucking broke.
They're not adding to society, and that's the whole point.
No, they're trying to add to society, but they're just degrading society. They're
not an addition. That's
making it stale. Okay, it's not math. It's straight up the quality of things. If you have bread and you add mold to it, you're not subtracting things from it. You're adding mold to it. You're making it fester. You're making it rot. You're making it turn into something else. Is it worse? Is it better? Could be better. It could turn into penicillin. That's a good thing, because then you could use that to cure diseases. Or it could just turn into a rancid fucking mess, which honestly is looking like society is now. And society is a blanket term for, oh, I don't want to take responsibility how others are acting, but it's good to just actually be the change you want. And a lot of people don't have that ideal. Men and women and children, everyone wants to just look out for number one. And
at this point, that's all we can do. I mean, why should we help fix a society that has turned its back on its men, on its good workers, the ones who provide, in favor of psychopaths who want to destroy it? Well, because people are too weak in power, and they want to keep fringing this idea that, oh, we still know what we're doing by, punishing the people who call out their bullshit and make examples out of them. And then the average person...
There's definitely an increase in a lot of, how would I say, like, ingrates, or just people that don't contribute much to society. They're having more and more pull in today's life, and I don't know how I feel about that, but as a whole, even back like 100 years ago, no, there would be people, hardworking men, that would just bust their asses, come home, and just do it all over again. Just grind out life.
Yeah, they had a home. They were able to afford land.
And that's been taken away, yeah.
Yeah, can you afford land, Louis?
No. I can't afford a grain of dirt at this point.
Can you have a loving, supporting wife? No, of course not.
No.
They polluted that. And that was the main objective of feminism, was to make women undesirable and destroy men. Because it turns this society into what we see now. Because why would a good, hard-working man waste his time with somebody who's going to destroy him in a divorce court?
That's fair. And so you're basically saying that there's some sort of, I don't know.
Why should we stand up against a society that's crumbling and try to fix it when all we get is yelled at, screamed at, misogyny, patriarchy, transphobe, bigot, and you know what? I would rather sit back.
Break it to you, but men have always been screamed at just for existing. It's not a new thing.
No, it definitely is a new thing for this for the last 100 years. For the last 100 years, that's what this has turned into. From the beginning of this to now, this is what.
This isn't new. Trust me.
If
you look at its history, if you look at things, there's parallels. We like to think in our own
what happens
bubble.
to those societies where their men get treated like that? They fall.
Yes, we're at the collapse. We're at the Babylon that's gonna. What was it, the Babel Tower? I don't know.
Tower of Babel.
The Tower of Bibbles.
Bibbles.
Yes.
The Bible, not so the Bible. You question the words of the mighty Jimmy.
Yeah, no, we're getting a rapid degradation of character, of people wanting to actually do what's right for the sake of doing what's right, not for benefiting themselves personally. We're getting a rapid degradation of that.
But even that,
my favorite example of this. No, my favorite example of that is always going to be that litmus test thing that someone talked about with the shopping cart ideology.
The 4chan post.
Yeah, it's weird that one of the most draggish parts of society is preaching morals, and it's just shockingly correct. I mean, let's talk about that for a sec. You have a shopping cart. It costs you nothing to return it, right? You don't get anything out of it. You don't pay anything out of it. All it is just moving things to an area so if for the betterment of everyone else. People's cars don't get dinged. There's more parking spaces, and generally the place looks cleaner. So there's that. And you'll see people like the other day I went shopping at Walmart and there was like an old man and he just got his shit, like he pushed the cart literally right 2 steps outside the door. It's still in the way of the fucking doorway, and he just leaves it, walks over, and I look at that and I'm like, his parents should have raised him better. I mean, they're dead by now, but they should have raised him better.
I like how
And then
you're just like standing there as an old man. You're like, yo, what are you doing, young man? You start chastising. He's like, oh, we're gonna bend him over and spank.
No, I'm gonna spank the old man. But no, I watched him waddle to his car, and he parked in, like, he triple parked. So either he's just not functional anymore or just doesn't give a fuck about anyone around him. And I thought to myself, in apocalypse situation, you know, if there's like a life or death thing, I'm glad to see these kind of circumstances because I know who I can trust, because just that simple little interaction means that, hey, if there was like a circumstance where, you know, a lot of people could die or this guy could gain something out of that, he would usually look out for number one and just fuck over any nameless person just to get a small comfort.
Right. So your actions reflect who you are. That's why I don't.
It's your character. You're just, yeah.
Yeah. So
What?
I don't listen to what people say anymore. It's what they do.
Yes, actions speak louder than words, and just scream your actions at people.
So
I'm not
these
saying
people
they
who
get
are
physically
screaming at
violent
us,
or anything.
who are saying, "Oh, you need to accept trans and all that," and we don't.
They're all bark, no bite. They just all form
they're
together,
bite now.
and they've made
They're
a
bite
giant crowd.
They're shutting up schools and shit like that. They're doing that. So, and you know what the White House said as soon as the shooting happened?
What?
They said, this is a difficult day for trans people being victimized. Fuck all the people who died in that shooting.
Can we just throw away the current presidency?
No, that's you're not, you know, to quote Joe Biden, you're not black if you didn't vote for him.
Yeah.
That's a direct quote from him. I don't see why that would be bad. Okay, so we have a chat from Mr. Bill. He says, Tobey Maguire, every Spider-Man. Okay, Tobey Maguire is better than every Spider-Man. I think you just like that because of the Tobey Maguire bully memes.
Hey, those are top tier memes, number one. Number two, he's correct, man. Pizza time, that's a thing. Did any other of the Spider-Man iterations have pizza time? No, it did not.
Oh, you totally got me there.
It's pizza time, man.
Tobey
And also, yes, the Bully Maguire edits they have no right being that top tier in quality. I'm gonna put a little dirt in your eye. It's just him just punching the shit out of someone.
It's ridiculous.
I love those.
It's fine. So, to answer the question, Tobey Maguire, I grew up.
It's not a question, it's a statement. It is a fact, man. Those are just better.
Louis, shut. Just shut.
You're mad because you're wrong.
I grew up with the original Spider-Man movie, and back then it was just a movie trying to be a movie and adapt a media to another medium. So we got comics going into movies, and they wanted to do it well. It was really what's the word? I wouldn't say childish. It was kind of.
It was the prototyping of this shit. That's what actually kind of spawned a huge craze for all the superhero movies. I don't think Marvel would have ever taken off if people never got the interest they did from the Spider-Man movies.
Correct. All they were doing was just trying to make a movie. That's all they were doing. And there was none of this garbage in the background reminding you, hey, we own you. Hey, we fucking own you.
He has a good point there. I don't think I've ever seen the upside down kiss. That's iconic. That's Spider-Man. But I don't think any other iteration's done that. I mean, I guess there's the whole backbreaker upside down shit that Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man did, but that was kind of tragic. His girlfriend's spine got severed.
Tobey Maguire better than Tobey Maguire.
I can see it now. This is just that scene where like Andrew Garfield's the Amazing Spider-Man, he couldn't save was it Gwen? And he's like crying and shit, and there's just Bully Maguire standing over him. Gonna cry now?
Bully Maguire needs to be right now edited into this
Everything.
This shit.
In fact, people need thicker skin. Why are people?
Well, people are being handed over to a reprobate mind. What that means is that they have accepted the doctrine to continuously become weak, and instead of improving their own lives, they have now decided to make everyone weaker than them by force.
Oh, we gotta fight.
Yeah, it's these two guys that come in all the time. They can't get along.
All right, hold up. Okay, the Tom Holland had good acting, but honestly, I can't agree with some of like the scenario writing. A lot of it just feels very convenient, if that makes sense.
It's very assembly.
Everything always falls in place in the Tom Holland ones. The acting is good. Tom Holland does a great job, honestly, representing Peter. I can't diss him on that, but the fucking writing, I can't condone that. And honestly, just in the last decade, nothing has been well written. I don't think there has been a single show or movie that has been truly captivating.
No, I mean, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish was very entertaining, very good. I was genuinely surprised because I thought what they were going to do was when you're in development hell of a movie, they'll just toss whatever it is they have available that they created. But no, they actually put in the effort to make it an enjoyable experience. I mean,
I think it's honestly one thing, and it's Hollywood executives being so out of touch with what the public want. I mean, there's that whole Morbius movie that people were making memes about how they want to go see it like in a frenzy. They morb so much, and people actually bought into that. They thought that they were serious, so they took a failing movie that made no money, that just bombed, absolute diarrhea, stinky bombed, and they're like, oh, this is getting so much traction online, what if we release it for another weekend? And it bombed even harder because people saw it there.
No, we were all busy that weekend. Just re-release it again and we'll be there.
Exactly. They totally thought that people were being serious because they're so out of touch. They think that all the what do you call that, the social media is a proper channel for talking to people, and it's just full of ingrates. It's full of just, I don't know, what would be a good word?
I need to grab some more coffee. Could you handle the show for a minute?
Oh, I can handle everything. No, okay. I'll just talk to myself or the chat. Let's see, what do I got? PIB. Oh yeah. No, honestly, it was surprising how like they were getting ready to unveil Avatar 2. Everyone was so excited for it because Avatar 1 was so good. But then a couple people saw it and they're like, it's the same thing, just with water. So graphics wise, I have to appreciate animation style wise, like water animation is really hard to do. And if they did a good job of that, they did a good job. But the fact that it got just overshadowed magnitudes-fold by Puss in Boots, and that was a good movie. I think that was the first movie I bought digitally that was full price. I normally wait for a heavy sale because I'm not paying $20 for something that I've already seen. But God, I couldn't get enough of that show.
What show?
The Puss in Boots.
Yes.
You got your coffee.
Yeah, I got my coffee. So, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish was a fantastic animation. I hope we get more like that because DreamWorks is blowing Disney out of the water now.
And I really hope this trend continues, and let's do it. Not in the form of boycotting or canceling, just in the form of prefer to actually spend money on things you want, you know? Don't hate watch Velma, don't subscribe to HBO if you don't like their content. cancel your subscription. Netflix pulls out some garbage. They fucked over the Witcher thing. Cancel your Netflix subscription. Why are you still paying for shit you don't want to see?
I don't pay for what I want to see.
Yeah, and when they
I watch clips. That's what I mean. I don't do anything bad. I just, you know, a friend's
and
like,
that
hey,
falls under another thing. If anything, you're just as at fault as other content creators because you're bringing notoriety and attention to a failing product, and people are gonna hate watch it. It's gonna gain traction. That whole Velma thing blew up because everyone made it such a huge deal.
Right. And there you go. Chloe's finally understanding.
So, just don't talk about it.
Oh, what's this? A Spider-Man movie that's going to come out and it's going to tell you that you're a transphobe if you don't watch it. I guarantee that's what's going to happen. Like, I think later today or tomorrow for the next couple weeks before the movie comes out, people are going to say you're a transphobe for not wanting to watch it. And we're going to have the Hogwarts Legacy all over again. Is it gay to breathe? Basically, if you're near gay people, I'm just responding to every.
I mean, other people fart, and that has been in other men's asses. So, I mean, yeah, it is gay to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Very gay.
So
and plants, they're slut sticks for all that gay ass air.
Anyway.
Slut shame your local plants.
Slut shame your local plants.
Start throwing in the word slut into just plant names. A bag of slutatoes. I don't know. Let's sidestep that.
I don't even know how to respond to that. Now I'm gonna be having my vegetables today, and all I'm gonna think about is how much of a dirty whore they are.
Sitting there with steam peas, you fucking slut.
Louie's gonna be in one of my thought cloud bubbles, and I'm gonna be like,
just eating your vegetables.
I think we lost the plot. All right.
Let's see. Topic. Where was it? Okay. Animation.
We're not going to go see this. At all.
Speak for yourself. The first movie was good. The second movie's got to be just as good, right? Right?
No.
I usually am very into sequels. Let's see. Heads or tails? Is this movie going to be good? No. Oh, heads. I don't think it might be good.
Did you literally just top?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Oh my god. Ooh.
Oh.
Sorry, I got Adobe Premiere opened. I'm trying to edit a new sequence while we're talking, while we're working, and it kind of keeps my brain going forward.
Hey Paul, I have a beta sequence I've been working on.
What are you talking about?
Celery Man. I love that skit. Oh, and I gotta say, there's weird choices in casting in movies lately. Like, I mean, Paul Rudd did good as Ant-Man. In fact, I saw the latest Ant-Man movie, and it was actually okay for a Marvel movie. It wasn't bad, it wasn't good, it was just meh, but it was okay. Really? I had an okay time with it.
You're a normie.
Yes, and okay, I'm not an extremist like you. I have an okay, reasonable thought process, and I just saw like meh to the whole thing. At first, I was excited with, oh, they got Bill Murray in it, but then I had to think to myself, why is Bill Murray in this? It kind of throws it off. And then I only saw trailers for, was it Black Adam, right? That's the Shazam, but I guess not Shazam.
Hold on a second. Bill and Ibrahim, stop talking about this again and suck your own dick.
I mean, okay.
No, in the chat, I need you guys to kind of help us with the ask questions.
Or it's the same idea, if you pick your nose and you eat the boogers. It's gross. So it'd be like, if you drink your own jizz, it'd be gross. It's the same as
yes, I already
boogers.
Explained in the main campaign Doom Eternal Part 3 stream. I'm glad I have a fan who watches my crap. It's like, no, in this part he already explained why sucking your dick is gay.
This is canon. This is lore.
We've already did this subject Jesus Christ. Okay.
It's only taboo because we're jealous of people flexible enough to do that.
What? No. I do not subscribe to that psychos. That's
If
psychotic.
every guy could get their bottom 2 ribs removed, like with a tax break, everyone would just be doing that. Like, people be walking down the street, just waddling, just with their head between their legs, and then just waving to each other. Oh hey Bill.
Jesus Christ. No. No.
Yes.
That's nasty. Oh, that's nasty.
Speaking of one of the episodes, let's talk about a very huge topic that we're all trying to die to know. One fan wrote, "Tell us the color of Sonic's arms." You never specified.
Fans wrote into the show to ask what color Sonic's arms are.
Yes, you're getting fan mail from now on.
I'm getting
We're gonna get a PO box set up where people can send you their laundry, so you can launder it and then just send it back to them.
What?
You got to pay the bills somehow.
I am not gonna subscribe to this psychotic freaking laundry scheme. Bill's asking another hypothetical. Fellas, is it gay to see? I mean, you're in a world, or word L. A word L. I guess we're taking L's now.
We're taking the L's now.
Taking the L's now.
They're taking the L's to Elsengard.
Yes. I think these two guys are just one guy, and he's trying to make me feel better by making me think there's two guys.
Yes.
Oh, excuse me.
We need to get like a chat GBT program and then just have it just go on random tangents.
Oh man. I mean, that's gonna be saved for the stream later today with the Grey Ghosts and all that.
The Grey Goose.
Is that what it's gonna be? His alter ego, the Grey Goose?
It's just vodka.
No.
Yes. All right. We did derail off of topics here.
As always.
Hey, that's good. Derailing just means you can re-rail and then just get right back on
Derail
track.
more times than the trains that are going around in America.
Oh yeah, that one event was pretty catastrophic, and that's gonna affect the local trout population for sure.
Definitely.
Because it's gonna kill them all with acid rain.
Jeez. Okay, they're going crazy in the chat. Okay.
Whoa.
Okay, I'm done with it. Good. Anyways, it is gay. Okay. Look, YouTube, do you have any questions about the Spiderverse topic of trans and all that infiltrating kids' minds?
Hey, it involves sexuality. Their topic of conversation is valid.
Ends the show immediately. Can't stand this shit anymore. Can't do it no more.
I need like a soundboard with just a bunch of sound effects. Be a radio DJ. KUG TV. I don't know.
So, this show's gonna bomb. I hope it bombs. I hope Marvel loses all their money and they get.
Hey, phrasing there. Don't say that, because then if it actually does get bombed, you're an accomplice to it somehow.
Okay, you know what I mean. I can still be like, but sir, the Cytrus events are a fan-made parody of Dragon Ball GT, and just start doing the fucking Funimation shit.
The Funimation stuff.
Dragon Ball parody.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
only my friends, only the people who know about Dragon Ball Z know what I'm talking about.
Yes, the two people have seen it past the Frieza saga.
Hey, that's like what, half a year's worth of hours of animation, since One Punch takes 5 episodes.
Hey, that's like One Punch Man in season 2, because he didn't show up for half of it. That sucked. It was
Man
very.
doesn't show up in his own cartoon.
Yeah, for like half of it, they were trying to world build, and that's the problem with just pandering. They get an idea and a concept through, everyone loves it, and then they change it because they want to keep it fresh, they want to keep it interesting, but they lose sight of what made it interesting and good. They try and appeal to a general audience, and when you please everybody, you please nobody. Oh, actually,
So I've seen that reoccur in situation where it's like people who want to subscribe to the status quo are very weak because they want the safest option available for themselves. What's
I
the
don't know if it's
safest
just
option?
because
Well, if
I'm
I please
local here
everybody.
in the Western Front, but in the U.S. But what, like, who is the majority that they're appealing to?
It
Who
isn't the
is?
majority.
I don't think anyone
It's no
really
longer.
truly enjoys this.
I don't think it's no longer. We just want to make good product for everyone who wants to enjoy it, which was what was happening about 25 years ago. Was what was going on. Now you're lucky to get a Puss in Boots, Last Wish sort of
I
movie.
second that movement. DreamWorks is better than Disney.
Yeah, DreamWorks
At this
is better
point,
than
yeah.
Disney. And I've always liked DreamWorks a bit more. Yeah, they had a lot of crap like what's the fucking Shark Tale. Oh,
Well, I was gonna go into the whole the thematic universe of the Minions movies.
that's
That whole
Illumination.
Oh, is that not DreamWorks published?
No, Illumination is its own studio.
I genuinely thought that was a DreamWorks thing for quite some time. A lot of animations have gotten so much simpler and just cheap to funnel out, so it almost feels like they're made by the same studio. Like, there's Pixar and there's DreamWorks, and it doesn't really feel like they have the flow and the soul to them anymore. I mean, maybe it's just because it's all 3D animated and there's hardly any hand-drawn shit these days, but it doesn't feel personalized. It doesn't feel like there's any emotion in it.
Bill wants us to go back to talk about spiders.
Spider.
Spiders! Hey, kid Louie, can you send me that video real quick so I can put it on the channel? Spiders.
Unfortunately, that is buried under a whole pile of memes. I have like folders like 300 memes, and there's like 30 folders, so I actually have no idea where anything is.
Okay, so to go back to the point of animation style, that Puss in Boots actually adapted from Into the Spiderverse, or the Spiderverse. The Miles Morales' first Spiderverse movie adapted a sort of slowing of frame rates because they kind of realized that the more frame rates you have doesn't make the movie better. So they adapted a very nice style of animation that brought the comic book to the big screen that looked solid. The first movie was like solid when it came to presentation. Now so much
like
that
it had more impact.
Right. It was new and it did it well. Just because something new doesn't mean it's going to be good. So, but they did it well with capturing the ebb and flow of the entire movie, being in that stylized when it came down to like frame rates dropping. That actually helped adapt more of a cartoony comic book style. The colors, the designs were unique, and the silhouettes matched. Now they had that down. All they had to do was just cross the finish line, but it looks like they just decided to snap their own neck and fall backwards and run backwards the other direction like an owl. Like, it's a marathon runner, and he almost reaches the end. His head turns around 180 and starts running backwards.
Gets possessed by a demon, starts spider crawling on the ground, and just twists his neck backwards and just reaches.
Scared and pissing themselves and shitting themselves.
If I saw that at a marathon, I would freak out too, man. There's a guy about to hit the finish line. He's all excited. Everyone's excited. Next thing you know, demons.
Oh!
Yeah, no, that's genuinely terrifying.
Everyone's just stunned as he's running backwards. He goes towards the guy who, like, starts to race. He's like,
The guy just loads up his little starting gun and tries to kill himself with it. Why can't we have that kind of humor in cartoons these days? More slapsticky stuff.
Alright, we got a text here from Ibrahim. Composite Spider-Man is every spider. Animation live action comic and all Spider-Man from the Spiderverse encompasses a Godzilla's every Godzilla comic anime movie combined into one. So who would win? I don't understand what he just said. But
okay, there is so many fucking iterations of Spider-Man. I actually loved Spider-Man growing up, and Venom specifically, but that is too much. That is unfair because Spider-Man is already got the Spider-Man composite would win. I mean, hell, you even got the zombie Spider-Man, so it just can't die. So Godzilla will just get bitten and then just get turned into like a rabies-infested lizard.
I made this point before. It doesn't matter who you have up against anybody. Who you want to win is going to win.
All right. The Spider-Man franchise makes a lot more money than the Godzilla franchise, so the writers would write to the fans of the Spider-Man franchise.
I mean, which one's been out longer? Godzilla or Spider-Man?
Oh shit! You know what? I think Godzilla, because the OG ones were like black and white, but Spider-Man was really, really up there with like the old like.
Okay, Spider-Man was created on August 1962.
All right. Godzilla had to be like back in like the 50s, I swear. It feels like it would have been.
1954.
Okay, yeah. So Godzilla is older, Spider-Man is...
So it would have at least a decade more. I think exactly a decade more time to establish itself. So it on par, we can make a safe adjustment of it's probably made more. I mean, there are groups of lawyers who go out and basically sue anybody who uses Godzilla's likeness in any way.
Yes, okay.
They're very vicious.
Who would win is who has the more expensive lawyer.
Why don't you ask Death Battle and have those idiots talk about, oh, we're going to talk about the weapons, armor, and shit, and the piss and balls, and how much cum they produce, and we'll see who wins.
They compare the length of, like, Godzilla and Spider-Man's dicks.
No dick, no balls, and probably no butthole, because this guy feeds off radiation. It's gotta be crap. That's
a good impression of that one guy that was like oh shit, I am that one guy, aren't I?
Yeah, you probably are. He will win since he will have 10 times more power than before, and since he has the power of Mega Magic Domain, Heisei, Final Wars, and Hell Godzilla, he's gonna destroy Composite Spider-Man. But if it's base form Composite Godzilla with every Godzilla combined into one, Composite Spider-Man with every Spider-Man into one. You can't
There's gotta be one magic Spider-Man.
This is devolved into, you can't shoot me because I have a force field up. Well, my bullets go through force fields, and, well
yeah, they do.
Eats bullets, and it's like, well, the bullets actually are poison. You can have
the bullets are actually poison.
You can have this conversation ad infinitum.
Alright, that's fine. That's a good conversation topic. You'll get all the,
Who's gonna win, the, trans Spider-Man or the bigot Spider-Man? Well, the trans Spider-Man already hung itself.
Oh, I was gonna make that joke. Damn it!
if this show goes down in flames, it's gonna be because of me. I get copyright strike and channel ban. It's gonna be because of me.
You got bammed.
So Cop Godzilla would lose against Cop Spider-Man unless if Cop Godzilla goes Mega. How about they both lose because King Kong comes in and fucks both?
Oh yeah, I never actually did end up watching the Godzilla versus King Kong movie. Was it any good? Because it was like hyped like crazy, but like I said, I work a full-time job, so I just didn't have time.
Who cares? I never saw it. I do not care.
We gotta have like a meet-up and watch that shit. Though.
I'm not a fan of Godzilla.
How dare you?
Sorry to bust everyone's bubbles. I don't care about Godzilla.
Godzilla doesn't care about you small little man.
Well, my scenario is King Kong comes out with his big wiener, slaps both of them and wins. Because Death Battle said that they didn't account for this microscopic snail that would trip Godzilla and land on King Kong's asshole.
See, that's actually the snail that would eventually kill you if it touches you, and it just never stops. You're immortal, but it will kill you the moment it makes contact.
Well, I'm talking about cartoons now and animation movies are going to now try to subtly put in background stuff to remind you that you're a bigot because you don't support kids being groomed. That's the topic of the day, not Godzilla or Spider-Man right now.
Actually, yeah, that's a good thing. How about other like comics and movies and other forms in cartoons, mediums? They always had some sort of background message in them, didn't they? I mean, there was that famous thing with the Lion King where someone put the word sex in the clouds, and then there was the Little Mermaid with the dongs all over the cover?
Okay, that you know.
Come on.
All over
That's relevant. That's brainwashy. That's relevant.
Listen, the cover of the VHS, one of the castle parts in the background looked like a dick without foreskin, yes. I don't think they're intentionally put in. That's kind of schizo at this point. It's like, when you have castles designed, you can design something without thinking, oh, this looks like a dick. Do you remember when I was in animation class, you came in, and my teacher was like, hey, that looks like a penis, when I was drawing the ball?
Yeah, you were drawing a ball sack, actually.
But yeah, big floppy wiener, because it's part of the curriculum. No, I was drawing a ball doing the animation where it bounced off, and it looked too much like a wiener on one frame. You know, you can unintentionally design something that looks phallic. And now for the sex thing, I think it was supposed to say sound effects to, I think, highlight the new sound design that was introduced in The Lion King. Or it could just be a coincidence. Now, there are instances like rescuers having a still of a naked lady in the background of a certain frame that got released in movies and on VHS. Like, there was a scene where the albatross is taking the mice to the destination, and they're going so fast you could see the cities and the windows, and in one of the windows in the background is a naked lady changing.
That's not real, is it?
No, that was. It was edited out and re-released. But the same thing with Roger Rabbit, with Jessica Rabbit.
Oh, it's just straight up a fucking PNG thrown in there.
Mm-hmm. So, to go back to it, it's like what we're seeing now is they're going to use like background images and shit like that to make subtle. I think what they're going to do now is Disney is going to just kind of retract, but still keep that kind of bullshit in order to keep the message going. So what they're going to do is they're going to put it in the background like they are with the Spiderverse. It's going to be in the background. It'll always be looming over like a cancer growing on the back of your skull.
Until eventually you're okay with it, and they're just like...
Maybe we're too forward with it. Maybe if we just dial it back and put it subtly on stickers and stuff. Like, no, I see what you're doing. Remove the cancer. Remove it completely. That's what needs to happen. You can't just have it in the background like this crap.
Yeah.
At this point, I think it's too late. I think the cancer has turned them into zombies. And I hope...
Zombinos.
I hope everyone working on the Spiderverse gets a painful lesson about what happens when you introduce this kind of garbage. And I'm not saying physically. I think.
Was this a movie podcast? I'm trying to think about it. We do talk about movies a lot, but we just really care about animation quite a bit.
Yeah.
And yes, we're old.
we grew up before these guys did. We
Really?
went from the most powerful. Yeah. Okay. We went from a movie podcast to a shapool life. What the hell is shapool?
It's like school, but pooler.
Pooler? It's high school, but pooler.
I don't know.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna do Ancient Gods Part 2 yet. I wanted to get some topics out of the way because
I probably should play that. How is it? I actually bought like the Big Dig Edition at release, but I never bothered to play it beyond the base campaign.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I'm gonna have to replay the campaign because there's this kind of like a flow you have to get into with that game, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely. And I've been playing it just to kind of get the hang of streaming, basically.
Oh.
So we will be live again in about 12 hours. We will be doing an AI animation with the Grey Ghost. Louis, could you send me the AI animations, like the Will Smith one and the Donald Trump eating the squid one?
Those are both unsettling. I think I might have deleted those off my phone, but we'll see if I can't forward them to you. They're
Bill, I know you did. I'm just taking the piss, as one would say if they lived in Australia, which I don't.
He's just taking this.
Yeah. Now,
oh, there it is.
The medium of animation now going to be like, we're going to keep this political or these psychotic groups in the background now, all of them, and we're not going to be like, oh, not going to turn characters into being like trans, like we're going to keep it in the background, looming over. That's going to happen in video games, and it's already happened in video games. This is why I like Doom Eternal more than a lot of games out there.
I was really enjoying that Hat in Time game, and then I saw a news article. They threw in a trans flag just in some random ass corner as an Easter egg, and I mean, Easter eggs normally supposed to be funny, silly little things, but this just felt like this is politics, yeah. And I just don't care for that stuff.
You want to know an interesting parable? Okay, so this is a Aesop's parable, which I think would be interesting to talk about. There was a shepherd that had a nice, big, healthy flock of sheep. And he was leading them back from the meadow where they were eating. And before they could cross, a huge, deadly storm rolled in that he was unprepared for. So the shepherd takes this flock that has been loyal to him, that he's treated very well, into a cave to protect them. And inside the cave, as the flock settles down, is a new flock that looked a bit better. Wasn't a lot, but they looked a bit better than the one that he had. And so with the rations he had, he gave more to this new flock to try and get them to come into his flock. But what he ended up doing was not giving a whole lot to his group, his loyal group. He wasn't giving them the necessary nutrients. He was missing, not giving them the care they needed.
He neglected them.
Exactly, for this new flock that what he really wanted into his. And by the time the storm was done, all the flock ran away from him. And he asked the new flock, as they were running, I gave you all this stuff. I helped you out. And they responded saying, we saw how you treated your loyal old flock. We know we'll end up being treated like that eventually.
Mm-hmm.
The point is, that's what's happening in everything right now. These people forgot that the people who were loyal and enjoyed their content for what it was were the main people they needed to make the content for.
No. The reason things got popular. Star Wars was a very niche thing, but it kind of blew up in a small sense, and then as it got bigger and bigger, it got less and less interesting, because when you appeal to too many people, you please no one.
You sacrificed a huge majority of people to try and include this other minority that can't fit with the majority of the society.
That's become from Star Wars to Starkwurst.
To Starkwurst, an unnamed project that I have no association with whatsoever.
Yes.
Well, we have been going on for at least an hour or two. An hour and a half.
Oh, has it? Wow.
I think we got a lot of content so far. We're going to keep this going.
We talked about nothing. Nothing got resolved. You're a failure. I'm a failure. We're all fails.
Endless positivity from you, Louis. Always.
Oh, yes.
The absolute knob.
Just 2 hours of just straight up baby noises. Just that's good content's
People
gonna
say
be.
Allah and Jesus are weak. People who say Allah and Jesus are goat. Fucking head. Facts. Respectful, but a bit disrespectful at the same time. You ate well. Be careful. Allah might send you to purgatory. I don't know what the Muslim equivalent of hell is. Isn't there like 7 hells versus the Mormons?
America.
Versus the Mormons that are like 7 heavens. It's kind of opposites.
America is the hell for Islam. That's where they send all the bad Islams. They send them to this shithole.
To America, yeah.
America is the punishment for the Middle East.
Yeah, Muslim hell is just America. I agree.
Specifically either Florida or New Jersey.
Oh,
I've never been.
Florida, they might actually enjoy. They probably send them to California or Minnesota.
Minnesota really bad?
Oh yeah, dude, it's horrible.
But they have the name soda in it. They smell like sodies. It's gotta be
So?
good. Soda, Minna.
What happens when the sun rises from the west? I think we're in a lot of trouble.
The Earth just all of a sudden like flips its rotation. What would happen in that circumstance? Like, there is actually a concept where we're due for a polarity in the like north and south poles just being flipped, because the Earth doesn't like spin what we think as like a straight vertical spin. It's kind of like an axial spin. That's why we have winter and summers.
But Louie, you're isolating the flat earthers, all two of them, that would probably hear this. We need to
Okay,
compensate
a
for
disc can fucking wobble in the space too. Okay.
No, I'm making the point of like, yeah, we would sacrifice everyone else, every normal person who knows that the freaking Earth is round, for two psychopaths who have no idea how the world works.
Actually, way back when everyone universally agreed that the world was flat because it looks flat, and only some people figure that shit out with math or other ways that it's actually round. It's just very hard to perceive the curvature of the Earth.
Right. I mean,
And
you look up in the sky
that's just
and all the other planets are
human
round.
nature. We just like to take the easiest possible idea and go with it until we find something that's more better that fits that category. We don't like to just not understand something. And that's why we have so much discourse these days, because everyone doesn't see eye to eye, and so not understanding each other is very polarizing. It's only getting worse and worse with all these apps that are just basically steroids for the brain, that all they do is just fire off synapses with TikTok dances of just titties jiggling in your face to some pop music, or some life hack where some dude like uses a welder and just welds like, I don't know, a thumbtack to a coat hanger. Is like, look at this easy trick.
Life hack! I miss Papa Franco.
Yeah.
No, shit. Is my microphone still working?
It is. I'm
Okay,
hearing
I had
you.
to unplug the headset because it's done charging. Louis, I gotta grab more coffee because I'm an addict. I'll grab back.
Coffee addict.
Talk about, I guess Bill and Isham are talking about the end
Judgment
of the world.
Day?
Yeah, Judgment Day.
There's a lot of goat talk. Now, is it goat as in like greatest of all time, or an actual goat? Because they will just scream endlessly. A goat with a human face. That is a terrifying idea. Interesting, but terrifying. Now, if that goat with a human face were milked, would it have human milk or goat's milk? I wish to know this goat human face, this goat man face thing. What else is there to talk about other than goats, and Judgment Day? Holy crap, where did the topic of conversation go, man? This is Godzilla. Ryan Lombard. I don't know who the hell that is. I live under a rock. Oh. Thoughts will snap your mind in half.
So goats and goat people and goat demons and shit like that, is that what this entire... Well, I mean, all the trans stuff is satanic, if you want to really get down to it.
How so?
Lucifer and Satan are reprobates who want to corrupt everything that God created. God created man and woman in his image and likeness. Well, Satan wants to destroy that. How do you do that? Well, you convince them that they were born in the wrong body, and so what they do is mutilate themselves in order to become some affront to Lord Jesus. To disrespect the image of God is something that Satan wants everyone to do.
On that topic of conversation, would cybernetic implants be considered the same thing with that?
I think to a point where you are using it to corrupt the DNA. DNA is a signature from God to solidify that you were created by Him, signed by Him. So if you change that and corrupt that, then you will move outside the creation of God. This is the perspective that a lot of biblical people have when it comes to the mark of the beast in Revelations. They believe, well, I would say we believe that if you go outside the creation of the DNA and you start changing that, you've effectively removed yourself from God's creation to become an ascended being, basically, or something that's beyond human. The reason why the mark of the beast is unforgivable is because Jesus Christ died for humans, human DNA. That's what his sacrifice for.
Right.
So, when it comes to cybernetics, tech can go so far to a point where I think it's going to you have to transition into a post-human. I mean, they're talking about post-humanism in the next 100 years here, and I think we're slowly approaching that.
Yeah, there's more and more prosthetics that are getting more and more advanced. I mean it's
great.
one thing to replace a missing limb that was lost in an accident or some disease or whatever. It's one thing that, but it's another that you're willingly have like a left and right hand, and you're like, you know what? I want the ultra vibrating wrist 3000 because my hand just doesn't do it enough. So you just willingly lop off your left or right hand, and then you attach basically a sex toy to your wrist.
Right. So I was listening to In Time's production, and they do a great job of having people come in and give these sorts of points of view. One of them would be like, look, technology is something that's already corrupted and perverted and used for nefarious means. There's no escaping that. All right, so we have eaten from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. That is our curse. Okay, so now we have this entire tech that's being developed and created for good, but it won't be used only for good. It's going to be used for evil, as it is, written.
Is Elon Musk with his brain chips he wants to install?
Yeah. I know. Okay. There will be a beast
the
in
entire
Judgment Day,
premise.
end of the world. I'm just gonna read what Bill and Abraham are talking about.
Right.
That's a goat with a human face, and at that time this beast will come. Yes, apparently this is unknown, but loads of people from all religions say this. For Christians, they will see Jesus floating in the sky. It will rain blood, and everyone dies to go to heaven. For Muslim people, they will see the goat thing. So that's their theory. What will the Jews and Hindus see? We don't know. So in
we'd have to ask a Jew or a Hindu for their idea of what the apocalypse would look like.
I don't think they have an end time prophecy or anything like that. I don't know much about Hindus. I know it's India's thing, but Shiva, the goddess of life and death.
The blue lady with the arms, right?
She represents destruction and life, like the cycle of life. And it's just another god that was from, in the Christian text, gods of the nations, false gods, little g gods. That's very important with biblical text. Rule over the nations and try to get people away from the main God who created everything, Yahweh, as it's described in I think Exodus, when God was talking to Moses on Mount Sinai. In Revelations, what's going to happen is that a rapture will happen, and it will remove the restraint of evil, basically. So right now, the church and all the people who legitimately believe in Jesus Christ's sacrifice to mankind will be taken out, and the world will be like, okay, God's like, all right, you handle it. I am no longer involved, and I'm going to give authority to the beast, Satan, and Antichrist will rise, who's going to do these miracles and beyond our understanding, and all the Israelites and every what's the word, Baker Boy, will worship him as thinking he's the Messiah, because Jews have not accepted Jesus Christ as the Messiah. That's their whole. They're still waiting for theirs. And so this Antichrist will appear and fulfill these things to get the Jews or the Baker Boys to to believe that he is their Messiah. And when that happens, the tribulation will occur. 3.5 years of him ruling and implementing the mark of the beast. You can't buy or sell. And then he will be assassinated and rise from the dead. And then 3.5 more years of hell on earth will happen. And after the first 3.5 years, he will establish himself in the temple of Jerusalem, and he will anoint himself as God and say, I am God. And he will persecute the Baker Boys and go after them. This is what's written in Revelations. So that's the Christian end of the world. And after the 7 years of all that happening, Jesus will return and make war with the beast. And
That kind of describes World War II vaguely, though.
well, there's been many iterations. In the Bible, they say that there's going to be types of Antichrists appearing.
Oh, so there's not just one event of this? There's
No.
going to be multiple apocalypse. In fact, actually, why do people consider that to be the one end all? Like there's going to be a nuke and it's going to wipe everything out? Like, no. Well, it's going to keep going in cycles, but there's just going to be cycles of this happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think there is going to be a rapture. There's going to just be multiple ends.
Well, I believe in the Bible. I believe the Bible is clear. It's not going to be what I think it is in my head. It's going to be something completely out of the norm. Some people believe it's going to be
very vague on
alien.
purpose. It's to get you to reflect and think about your own spirituality and ideas.
I think the Bible is true, so I subscribe to that because it is the Word of God. And we don't need to go into that. Let's kind of bring it around town and kind of wrap up the point of the Spiderverse 2 going to be a colossal failure. I hope it hurts Disney's money more than it hurts their ego. Just even putting that crap in the background is not going to fly with me. I'm not going to stand for it. Loey, what are your thoughts?
On the Spiderverse thing?
Mm-hmm.
And in a nutshell, just to get that point across, I'm just disappointed in the creators. They had a good thing going, and instead of, keeping the momentum, making something genuinely good, they've reduced it to nothing more than just a political concept. I mean, people have had political cartoons in magazines for years, and guess what? Nobody reads those. They're boring.
They're all
You
from
think
boomers who are like, didn't vote the way I wanted. Make that cartoon.
So here's my 2 cents, is that those people that have made those political cartoons, they somehow gained some sort of traction, and now they're actually trying to involve themselves in mainstream media, and I just don't care for it. It's not interesting, it's not entertaining. The idea of interest and all that is supposed to provoke thoughts, but all this stuff is just agree with me. Why should I agree with you?
Don't
Why
question it, or
should
it'll get you fired.
No, there really should be sound and reason to
Well,
it.
I know, but
Why should
that's
things
not
be this
happening.
way?
That's not happening. They are punishing you for just even thinking free like that. That's the horrible part.
That's a shame, because you think in this today that all the people that have over generations, not even in just America, but just in all globally, everyone has worked together, their ancestors, to try and make the world more and more advanced, more better for everyone. What do we get?
Oh my gosh, you better be careful, Bill. You almost sent yourself to hell. He's like, let's make sure we do not respect Islam, brother. We are brothers, and we shall just thank Allah for making us to live a life we do not respect. Oh wait, wait. We do not disrespect. That's what I meant.
Hey, that's 2 harams right there, man.
No,
2 harams don't make a halal. Did I get the term right? I think I did. Yeah. Where was I even?
2 harams don't make a law. Like, I was just like looking at that meme of American Dad where he's like looking at the meter. It's like halal, halal, and haram.
Not
You guys are
halal.
good. Just be careful. He's looking at you.
Yeah, you guys are in the haram territory right now.
Oh. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your point there, Louis.
No, that's actually genuinely funny right there. I like that.
Wait, he gets sent to hell. He gets sent to Detroit. Send him to Detroit.
Yeah, wait, no, it's gotta be Jacksonville, Florida. That's the hell.
Ron DeSantis comes out and says, "You must vote for Trumpy."
Yeah. Oh, politics.
Voting
Again,
matters.
and even then, I'm okay with people saying, "Hey, Louis, why do I have to question things? Why can't I just accept things blindly?"
Yeah.
To that I'd say, that's your choice. You can do that. You can deal with the consequences of that as well. Just don't come crying when, you have to deal with
They're
that.
going to come cry. They're gonna try and get like freebies out of you. They're gonna be like, just gimme. If you don't, you're me.
No kiss before marriage.
That's
Let's
right.
see.
You're a slut if you do that.
Yes, but then you could eat the gay vegetables that inhale ass air.
Whatever the hell that means.
I'm just calling back to the previous topics.
Alright. This is what he used.
No, you didn't use anything. You're actually psyoping yourself. You're not even awake right now. This is all a dream. You're gonna have to stream in 2 hours.
What a weird dream. We went
Imagine-
from talking about how crap and how they're reverting to subtlety and background bullshit in order to implement their ideology into it instead of making a decent cartoon. To
Basically,
the end
what
of the
we're
world.
afraid. Yep. And it's becoming the end of the world now because the subtle background ideas are becoming the more upfront ideas.
Louis, what would you do if I got raptured and the entire Christian theology was right all along? What would you do?
I don't know.
I'll leave you my Bible so you can prepare.
Your Bible?
Yep. If you just don't accept the mark of the beast, even if they threaten to kill you or kill you. Well, in the end times, you have to get it or you die.
The mark.
Yeah,
Okay.
they go around beheading people in order for you to get the mark of the beast.
Wow. Like a rabies check.
But worse, it's like you have to get the mark in your hand or in your forehead. So, and if you do that, you will be foreverly burned alive in the afterlife by God's judgment. So, if the rapture does happen, just take that as a sign that it's true.
Hold
Yeah.
up, that's conflicting because then those. No, never mind.
What do you mean?
Well, if you're gonna get burned for God's judgment, but the rapture is God saying you guys deal with it now, and
Right.
God doesn't have a hand in that anymore, then
For the
there's
7
just
years.
Okay, so but for 7 years everything is just. That doesn't make sense.
So what he does is he removes all the people who believed in Jesus Christ, sacrifice. Everybody's removed, and all that's left are the people who are in the middle, and the people who want to destroy everything that God built. So he gives the
Okay.
people in the middle a final chance by showing them.
Oh, okay.
So and he gives Satan 7 years to rule over the earth physically.
7's a very specific number, though.
It is all over the Bible, actually. That's God's favorite number.
7? I thought it was 3. God loves the Trinity. That's what I
God
was
is the
taught growing
Trinity. His favorite number is 7.
up. His favorite number is 7? I thought, is that just implied because of the 7 days for the week?
Everywhere you look in the Bible, this number 7 occurs a whole, like the most times when it comes to it. And there's a meaning to it. Now, I'm still researching more of it, and I'll come to better descriptions for it. But basically, 7 is one of his main numbers. 12, 7, 13, 13 apostles, stuff like that. The 12 apostles, since Judas was had the son of perdition implemented into him to sacrifice Jesus on the cross, because Judas is the one who betrayed Jesus and sold him out. So we have all that. There's a lot in the Bible that is very fascinating and still holds up to this day. So that's why I believe it's the Word of God. And I don't want to go too much into it, because this stream was about movies. This movie is now trying to do something new with the psychotic ideology that they're implementing in a subtle background sort of way. It could be in the movie that they just talk about it too, which I think they would. I don't think they would back off the subject now that they've already, sacrificed the IPs to it. It's like sacrificing a mall art. Your IPs are like the children that they would sacrifice the mall art to appease.
I'm surprised those even got by, because like Spider-Man is owned by Sony, and Sony is a Japanese company, and Sony is Japanese culture. They do not buy into any of this wokeism stuff at
Marvel is American Western based, and Marvel owns Spider-Man.
No, they don't. It's still owned by Sony.
Sony gave them permission to make movies.
Yeah, the Tom Holland ones. The Into the Spiderverse is not Marvel.
Oh, it's Sony? Yeah, that's very, very fascinating. Do you think the
whole legal battle thing behind it? Maybe they probably do, or it just got by the filters and nobody reported it.
Okay. I guess if Sony's gonna take initiative, they're gonna realize what's happening and then just.
Oh, for the Chinese copies, the Chinese government will censor that. No ands, ifs, or buts.
Yeah, they know what's up.
They got their own version of the KGB at this point.
Well, let's not waste our time. Let's not waste our money. This movie, as Bill would say, haram.
Harrell.
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 No. Let's not do it. Fuck. There we go.
No, you failed in the layering. You gotta start over. Player 1, player 2.
Stop it. I don't need you over my shoulder.
Yes.
This is gonna be for the Grey Ghost, since we have a third player. So, there we go.
Oh, you're doing the color gradients. I see what you're doing now.
Yeah.
I do like the video game. You know what? We've been talking about movies a lot, but what about video games? That whole shit pile needs to be discussed.
Well, what do you
There's a different problem entirely. I don't really like the fact that you went from... It was basically a passion-driven... There was money in it, even way back in like the 80s and stuff. Yeah, we do talk about it.
Well, we have a lot of content that we can compare to previous iterations decades ago now, when it comes to art and animation and movies and film.
Yeah. No, but video games, where was I getting at? Yeah. They're just being more and more greedy. The loot boxes and stuff. That business model is more or less lenient. I'll give it some leniency if it's a free-to-play game and you're just being supported by those cosmetic drops or whatever that you can buy, and they have seasonal updates, whatever. But when they have a full-price game, like there was a recent one that came out that basically had a full dollar, like full price, and then right after that they also had loot crates or whatever little points you can buy. That Dark Tide game, I was really looking forward to that. It released, you have to pay, I think it was like $60 at the time, or $40, I can't remember. But then they still had a lot of broken systems, but they made sure day one they had their Aquila system rollout, which just had cosmetics. Like, that was the only thing that really genuinely functioned, was just, hey, you can buy money. And it had so much FOMA inducing mechanics behind it that really soured the experience, because that game looked really good. It was really fun. It was very good concept, and just soured by the greed, the corporate greed behind all this. The publishers have too much reign and pull into the development, and I feel like that's also happening
I want
with
you to give me
movies
your
too.
thoughts about ESO's payment process and Bethesda and how they make people pay for the crap.
Oh, you mean the fact that they have an in-game store that isn't subject to the seasonal sales that any of the other platforms offer, and they can make the calls and shots on how their pricing goes for everything, and they can charge you $5 for a rock or whatever. It's pretty skeevy. Or they have countless DLCs, and instead of getting a bundle so you can catch up with everyone, you have to shell out tens and tens and tens and tens, and then it adds up. Oh, but they have an alternative. You can subscribe to ESO Plus, which is $15 a month.
To answer your question, Bill, yes, I do love switching topics because there's only so much we can keep going around in a merry-go-round, sucker punching the same thing. I enjoy that, but we find more things interesting when we keep the conversation going.
We're only dedicated to talk about specifically the Velma TV show, nothing else forever on.
She pulled out the wiener.
As long as we at least relate to the Velma thing once in every single one of these talking whatever topics, we're okay. Just
Look,
randomly you'll be talking about something else, and you just gotta scream the word Velma like you have a Tourette's tick.
Fashion bot. Oh, there we go. Let's see here. Yeah, don't go see the Spiderverse. Let it die. Don't hate watch it. Don't give them their money. Let's
what is that term?
Morbius.
That's a new term. Hate watching. Yeah, Morbius, more stuff. Morbius. All the like nobody saw Morbius. They all just made fun of it, but they never saw it. Why is it Velma? Everyone saw it. We could have just made fun of it. We could have made another Morbius out of it.
I like how you're agreeing with me. Yes, that's right. The anger flow through you. Do it. Star Wars is dead. You know, we're not getting that back.
No, they
Even
tried
the Mandalorian
reviving it with the
season 3.
Mandalorian.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's got 3 seasons now? Wow.
Yeah. Watch Pop Culture Rocks by Hammerhands. He's talking about it and why it's bad. I recommend Pop Culture Reference, Hammerhands.
Hammerhands. He's got hammers.
I'll put it in the chat.
Alright.
If you guys want to know more about it, I think he does a great job at explaining why this crap doesn't work.
Why the just not watching things doesn't work because other people will?
Why things are crap.
Oh, yeah.
Here, I'm putting it in the chat right now. Go over to Mr. Hammerhands if you guys want more information. Here, I'll just spam it in the chat.
You're shilling for someone else here.
I love Hammerhands, dude. I fucking love Hammerhands.
You're gonna drink all your Ovaltine too?
Hell yeah.
Corporate sellout.
For Hammerhead? Oh, I'd be, yeah. I actually had the chance to talk to him on a live stream. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
If you're looking to live the life of a MGTOW monk, I
channel owner, ban the V-Sidus guy. He's spamming.
Gladly, my entire thing just crashes on the internet.
It just becomes a 0-point event where it just forms a black hole in of itself.
Basically. Okay, I think we've kind of covered enough topics while I work on projects at the same time.
Projects.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess
Louis,
that's.
do you have any closing thoughts and ideas?
As always, keep true to yourself. I don't know. Just think for yourself. Don't think what others think, unless they tell you don't think. then in that case, do think I don't know.
You got yourself kind of in a folded corner here that you made.
A mental pretzel.
You just mentally pretzeled yourself.
Yes.
Don't think, but think what I think, and you think what you don't think.
Don't think.
Don't go see this movie. Don't give it a time of day. Let it die. Morbid to death. I think that's the final term of morbid.
Yeah, we
time.
should. Yeah, let's keep morbing alive in its ideology.
That's what
Let's just start
means.
morbing movies. Yeah.
Morb the movie, but
Morbing time.
morbid.
There's a trailer for something you don't like. It's morbing time.
It's morbid time.
That's all it means.
I think that's the perfect way to go about it. We're gonna morb you, and he morbed all over the place.
You know, if anything, that's gonna terrify so many people because they're gonna make all these movies and they're gonna think, oh yeah, these cash cows, these sows, they're gonna eat it and love it because it doesn't matter what we churn out. We're just like we're gonna morb, and they're like, no, you can't do that. And then we morb so hard.
We're gonna morb so hard. Morb.
Out of everyone I know, the only person I've ever heard that has physically seen that was my mom, and she is a huge movie buff, so she goes and sees
She
every
needs her
movie.
daily indoctrination, dude.
And daily indoctrination.
Dude, seriously, at this point, I think that's what movies are, just in theaters.
They are.
You know, and the good ones are still out. I went to go see the Mario movie, and I'll give my thoughts on it later. Let's morb the movie. More
movies.
All right, thank you all for joining us on the Cytrus event. I appreciate everyone tuning in. You too, of course, Bill and Ibrahim. When I make it big, I'll remember you too.
It's Ibrahim. Come on, man.
I don't know how to pronounce words.
I had a boss that had that name. He was a cool guy.
Ibrahim.
Very Ibrahim.
Isn't that
It's like Abraham.
Yeah,
but...
I was gonna say it sounds like it came from Hebrew roots.
Let's see. I think he was from Jordan or Jordan, whatever, however you want to. Potato. I guess I shouldn't be saying that when I was just correcting you. So I
think this stream's gonna get taken down. I'm gonna die. So if I don't come back, you know why?
Yes, it's because you dared say the word.
Well, at least we got 20% of it, Bill.
Yes.
I didn't start this channel to be chastised for the likes of you.
Movie podcast. 80% stream time. Yes. Hey, man, that hurts because it's true.
We should ban him. Oh, he's not listening to my indoctrination.
Yeah, but no, just more movies. That's the best takeaway from that. Don't give it the time of day. Don't influence others to watch it because they're curious. Oh, this guy had a strong opinion. Let's see if he was right or wrong. Oh yeah, it was terrible. You still paid for the movie ticket. You still supported it. Doesn't matter.
Right.
Or you made someone else get so curious they wanted to see it themselves.
I can actually agree with that. So I'm not going to waste it. If I'm supposed to be seeing it, I'm not going to pay for it.
Morbid, yeah. Or pirate it, and then.
No, you can't say that. We don't do that here. We sail the high seas.
We sail the high seas.
Yeah, as Hammerhand would say.
Ah, okay.
Right, so you sail the high seas and morbid. We all need a morbid.
Air Jordans.
We're going to be on later today at 6 p.m. at Intermountain Central Time for a AI discussion with the Grey Ghost, and it's the Grey Ghost, and he specializes in that. Louis, thank you so much for joining me. We'll see you later today. I'll be ready for you. I'll get it all set up when I get home from work. Okay?
All right. Enjoy your day. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Yeah.